right, welcome everyone. I am so glad you're here. It looks like I'm not in the center here. Maybe I can move this a little bit. Nope, that made it worse. Okay, hey, thank you so much for being here. Let's see, I got to make sure my sound is on. We are talking today about what really keeps us stuck. What is keeping us stuck? So, if we have not met, I'm Shauna St. James, and I am, single parent, empty nester now. And the reality is that it is time for me to focus on some things that I hadn't accomplished in the past. And mainly that is, my lack of finances. But it's not, my lack of having the retirement fund that's going to let me live the life that I want. That's not really what's keeping me stuck or anyone else stuck. It's what's behind that. So that's what we're going to look at now. Like, as you're looking at your future and as you're looking at the reality of what is looming in front of you, what is really keeping you from having that success that you want? What are you working on? What are your goals? What are your dreams? And what's keeping you from having them, from accomplishing them? I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the comments here, just in case anyone's here live. I love it when I have people joining me live. And please definitely say hello as you're joining. And feel free, of course, to ask any questions in the comments. I will be sure to get to them. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you put hashtag replay so that I know that you were able to catch this content. I know that we're live in several places. I think, well, we're YouTube and LinkedIn and in our Facebook group and our Women Embracing group, Wealth group. So thank you guys so much for being here. And the big obstacle that keeps us from having what we really want in our life, even though maybe directly it feels like it's just related to money, right? Or time, or these kinds of direct things that we're experiencing in our reality. Maybe it seems like that's all our problem is, but guess what? It's bigger than that. So it's bigger, but it's also actually it's an easier solution. I'm going to turn these lights down a little bit. I am just kind of zapped out here with so much light. So let's talk about it. The real obstacle is the way we think. It's our mindset. You hear the term mindset all the time. That is my background. That's my training, my experience from the past several years of actually highly specialized training with some of the leading mindset coaches in the world. And then also that is my, degree and my background in psychology. And I love, understanding the neuroscience and all the stuff that happens underneath what we actually engage with on our actual day-to-day actions. So that's what we're talking about. What are these things that are hidden from us that are the real culprits, shall we say? Whoops, the real culprits of what is keeping us stuck? What if it's not what you think it is, right? We're going to walk through a few of these really quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. But one of the things that is most important is what we believe is possible. Whatever we believe is our set point. That is our threshold. Actually, whatever we believe is where we're functioning at today. So when you start really pulling that apart and diagnosing it, what do you believe about what you're worth? What do you believe about all of the things that we're going to say have been programmed in you, right? From either our culture or from your family. Those beliefs affect how you function every day because they have been actual wired into you. And that is the neural pathway that travels every time you have an emotion, a thought is connected with it, right? Those are very, very interconnected. Same thing. If you have a thought, you're going to have a certain emotion. And one of my favorite mindset coaches, I love her definition of stuck is just a feeling. It is literally just a feeling. Everything we want in our lives is a feeling. You don't just want more money in your bank account. You want the feeling that comes with more money in your banking account. You don't just want to be able to take a vacation every year or 3 or 4 vacations every year. You want the feeling that comes with taking the vacation. Does that make sense? So really we have to get deeper because the feelings are aligned with our thoughts and our beliefs. That's really all of those things have to be in alignment for us to have what we want. So if you don't have what you want right now, your thoughts and beliefs and feelings are aligned with that, with whatever you're experiencing right now. And we've all been there. It's a normal human condition. The reason why, it's because we have this part of our brain, the amygdala, and it is wired to always be on guard, to always be looking for what could go wrong, what is wrong, because it's our brain's way of keeping us, quote, safe. Safe to our brain means no risk, no change, the least amount of energy expending possible. That's how our brain interprets things are good. But guess what? That may not be our true reality. That may not be what we're experiencing, right? If you are driving down the road and your car makes a strange noise and you're thinking, oh shoot, where does your brain go? Does your brain go to the positive? Oh, that's no big deal. I'll be able to figure that out. No, your brain goes to the worst case scenario. that's the human condition. That really is how we're wired. So being able to change that and reprogram that is how we get ourselves unstuck. So let's see how some of these show up, how some of these stucks show up. Okay. So one of them is the fear of change. This is really common. A lot of people, you feel safer just doing what you know versus the unknown. That unknown is scary, right? Years of, even though it's not the best situation, it still feels safe because you know it. What's known to you is not as scary as what's unknown. Jeez, my hair is already. So the fear can keep us stuck of anything. Are you fearing making a job change? Are you afraid of having to make a move? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of taking the leap into something unknown, even though you see it as an opportunity, but you're afraid to do it? You can see how fear can keep us stuck. Doubt, doubt in our abilities, doubt in our capabilities, doubt in the opportunities that we receive, a huge stuck block. Those are the things. Like, let's say you've been out of the job market for a long time, right? The thought of trying to go back into the workforce and get a job, maybe especially like after you've been let go or laid off, that can feel so daunting because it causes a lot of doubt when things like that happen, right? Or if you are really attached to the past, if past trauma is just coming up and being triggered again and again and again for you, you're not going to be able to get past that. And when you can't get past that, you end up stuck. Can you think of any time that's ever happened to you before? These are the kinds of things that can keep us stuck in life and also keep us stuck for not having what we deserve financially. Not everybody has this issue, right? Not everybody has an issue with this, but if you are, it's okay. We can just take the steps to fix it. It's it it's doable. Change is possible, right? That's the phrase that I love that phrase. It's, you know, it's not a uncommon phrase, but when you really think about it, it's really deep, really deep. What about feeling guilt or feeling shame or even feelings of resentment, feeling like you've had to sacrifice so much? You've spent too long putting off what your heart is calling you to do, and maybe you feel guilty about that. Maybe you feel a little resentment about that. But if we stay stuck there, then we're not going to be able to move forward, right? And sometimes it can even be worse than that. That, okay, yep, that's how I've always functioned. And then when we go to move on beyond that, then that's when the guilt hits because it feels wrong. It feels so foreign to put ourselves first. Have you ever had that experience? I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the only one. If you are in that situation now or you have been, it's okay. We just need to have the tools to be able to get ourselves out of it, right? Or what about worry? This was me worrying. Oh my gosh, the amount of worry, worrying about this, worrying about that. And the thing, here's the weird thing about worry that has always baffled me. And once again, it's just how we're wired, right? It's just how we're wired. But why, when we go to our imagination, because that's what worrying is just our imagination. And so here's some little neuroscience, gunk. Whatever we imagine, what goes on chemically and the physiology of our body that's affected by what we imagine, our body and mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So, whatever you imagine, your body is going to physically respond to. So, think about what worrying does to our bodies. Ooh, that doesn't feel good, right? But if we take that same power of imagination, which is all worry is, take that same imagination and move it to the positive, you can instantly feel that transition, that shift in your physiology, in your emotion, literally in your heart, in your belly, everything. It shifts. That's the power of our mind. So that's what we want to harness, because once we get a hold of this, I have a lot of people who are like, I don't know why you're talking about this, Shauna. This doesn't really have anything to do with business. This has everything to do with business, you guys. If you have ever gotten stuck because you're starting a business and you're too chicken to start, or you just keep putting it off, or you keep doubting that this is going to work, or that is just mindset. Or you already have a business, you're an entrepreneur, but you're not getting the results that you really want, right? You're not getting the sales, you're not getting the results that you need and want. That's mindset. Yeah. That's why this has to do with business. That's why this is the foundation to everything we do. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't go out and start your business until your mindset's perfect. No, this is an ongoing human condition that we deal with in every part of our life. Every time we level up, every time we want to grow, we bump into this mindset issue. It's the human condition. And honestly, there's part of it that I really appreciate. I really appreciate these challenges because they push me to become a better person. They push you to become a better, bigger, more powerful version of yourself. And that's what we're put here to do, right? If you are not moving forward and you're stuck, it doesn't feel good. And personal growth is part of that. Accomplishments are part of that. So this is how you're going to be able to do it. These 3 steps that we're going to talk about right now. So the first one, we kind of covered it a little bit. We talked about it briefly. I really should have made some, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. We have time. We have time. Let's make some quick notes here, right? So what keeps us stuck? Right? We talked about fear. Fear shows up in fierce ways, right? Fear is so controlling. We're talking about doubt. We're talking about guilt, resentment. What are some other ones? We're going to say past. I'm going to go ahead and use the word traumas. And keep in mind, I am using that term very broadly. Very broadly. And it does not have to be extreme trauma to get us stuck, because we all experience things differently. So what can feel like traumatic to one person may not be anything to the next person, right? It doesn't have to be extreme trauma. It can just be anything damaging, right? Honestly, I think about it all the time with my kids, because I divorced. So, my kids have some trauma that if they don't know how to manage this, if they don't know how to process that, it's going to keep them stuck, right? Now, I am, knock on wood, so freaking thankful that I have amazing kids, because they're doing fine. But think about that. Do you have anything like that that's keeping you, it's tying you to the past? So when something happens, it automatically triggers that. Oh, here we go again. Here it is again. How is that showing up in your business, right? When you have a lack of sales, oh, another week like that again. It happens. It happens. You're not the only one, okay? Scarcity. I hope that makes you feel better, honestly, when I say you're not the only one, because you're not. And there's a way out. We're gonna walk through it today. But this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to stay stuck in the fear, the doubt, right? The guilt, the resentment, the past traumas, scarcity, the not enough, right? Not enough. And that isn't just about money, not enough love, right? Not enough recognition, not enough power. Like when you feel powerless and helpless, you can see how these things show up in your life in so many different ways. So let's talk about how they're going to show up in business. Specifically, if you're afraid that you're not going to get any sales, if you're afraid of talking to people, if you're afraid, oh, let's put that one, judgment. We'll just put that out here, even though it is related to fear, right? Almost everything comes back to that, right? You're afraid of what people are going to think. And honestly, I've been there. Oh my gosh. Particularly when I was doing, I'll say the network marketing type businesses, right? Where you feel like you're pressured to go ask your friends and family to support you. Oh, that's, if they don't want it's a horrible feeling. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, by the way. All right, so here are our 3 steps to get unstuck. There is a way out of all of this. And I'm telling you, one of the things I always love to provide value for you. I want to provide content that's going to help, move the needle for you. And all of this is connected to having a business that lets you live the life that you deserve, that you want, so that you can do the things you want, so that you can spend the time with the loved ones, so you have the flexibility and the freedom to travel when you want, to be spontaneous. So you don't have to worry about, the next time the car breaks down. So you don't have to worry about, like me recently, when a I cracked a tooth, and my first thought was, I know I don't have enough to pay for this. How am I going to pay for this? That is a horrible feeling. The feeling went through my body right there again. That's what we want to change, right? We want to change it to, I never have to worry about whether I quote, have enough. I always have more than enough to cover all of my needs and more, to cover all of the emergencies. There's emergencies happen. They're part of life. I don't have to worry about whether I have I have what I need when an emergency happens. I always have that abundance. You can see how that feels different than the worry. It's the same pathway. It's the same imagination pathway, just going a different direction. Okay, so when you're stuck, here's your first step. And this is like, if you're in the situation where you're having a lot of financial anxiety and you feel stuck and you do not see a way out, the first thing I need you to believe, right? Belief is change is possible. Sometimes we get stuck just with that. Sometimes we get stuck believing that it'll never change. But our belief is where we have to start, because whatever we believe is what we think. And what we think and believe is what we feel. And everything we're talking about here is about the feeling. What does success feel like to you? What does an overflowing bank account feel like to you? What does being able to spend unlimited at Christmas mean feel to you? Mean to you? What would that mean to you? How would it feel? That's what we want to tap into. So you've got to believe that change is possible, because that's the most important thing. And sometimes it's the hardest thing, especially if you've been stuck in something for a long time. The longer you're stuck there, the more it feels like you're never going to be able to get out, right? I completely understand that. But it's not, right? You can change your financial situation. You can change your future. You can change everything. But it starts with believing it's possible. That's the first decision you have to make. Okay, the second one, and we've already touched on, the part of this, is you have to be able to visualize it. Visualize what you really want. Sorry, guys, my handwriting is terrible when it comes to writing on these boards. I just don't do very well. I don't really know why. I don't have a good explanation. I think I need like a fatter marker. You got to really be able to visualize what it is you want. What do I mean by visualize? I mean visualize it so you can feel it. The feeling, having that feeling and being connected to the feeling is like 80%, probably 90% of the work of having what you want. Because here's why. And you're like, that makes no sense. Here's why. If you function, if you make decisions, if you take actions from that feeling, you are that version of you in the future. Literally, you're functioning from that version of you that has everything you've ever wanted. And when you function from that version of you, what does that mean? That means in the world, the metaphysical world, right? In the world of quantum physics, you are matched to the vibration and the frequency and all of the things that match that reality. That's how you meet that reality. That reality's there. It's just us matching it. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. And I know that some of this is probably a little intangible. So I'm hoping that I'm breaking this down as easily as possible. But when I say visualize it and picture it, it's about feeling it. Because if you can imagine it, you can feel what it feels like to be drinking coffee out of your favorite mug on your back patio with your feet up on a super comfy outdoor sofa in front of your big outdoor fireplace. I'm making it up. But do you see when you have that visual, what do you feel? That's what we want. That's what we want to tap into as often as possible. And you can tap into it with, it doesn't just always have to be the imagined, it can be the little small things that make you happy, right? That create that same feeling that you have in your life now. If you tap into that feeling, that same feeling that you have when you visualize the big thing, you're aligned, right? You're magnetically and frequency and vibrationally aligned. So, what makes you happy right now? We have the future vision. What makes you happy right now? What makes you feel like that now? Is it, is it having coffee out of your favorite cup? Maybe you don't have everything else around you, but it's that cup of coffee. Is it the smell? Is it having flowers in your house, like fresh flowers? What are the small things that you can do now in the life that you have now that are going to help you match the vibration, the frequency, the emotion, and the feeling of what you want to have for your future? Tap into that as often as you can. Take 3 to 4 times a day. They don't have to be long, they can just be a minute, a quick minute. Close your eyes, bring yourself there emotionally. It takes practice. It takes practice. The first few times you're going to feel like you can't grasp it. Like you just can't get a hold of it. That's okay. You know why you can't do that? Because you're literally building a new neural pathway in your brain, right? So when you're going there, your brain's like, wait, I don't understand. You have to keep repeating it for that neural pathway to keep growing to where that becomes a road, like a roadway in your brain. So I wish I had, you can actually watch when you can probably find this online. I should find this online, but when people have subjected themselves, right, to neuroscience research, you can actually watch your brain growing new neural pathways. It's fascinating. Well, it is to me at least. When someone is creating a new thought and a new emotion and a new feeling, the the neurons in your brain are growing. Wouldn't you rather have them all grow all the stuff that makes you feel good versus just rely on the old stuck pathways that make us not feel good? It's worth the effort. It's worth the practice. It's worth dedicating the time. And we don't have to be, like the monks, that sit, 8 hours a day meditating. We can actually get the benefit and start growing neural pathways with just a couple minutes a day, 3 or 4 times a day. You can get those advantages. Why? Why do you want to do that? Because that's how you're going to get to your future. And I think this is kind of one of those things where it's hard for us to accept as humans because um, we are so trained in our culture, especially our culture, that you have to be taking action, that you have to, and you do have to take action, but you have to take action from that place emotionally, spiritually, mentally, for our actions to actually be moving us forward. And that's where most of us get lost when it comes to actually achieving what we want. That's where I got lost for years, right? I knew I wanted more financial abundance. You know that you want different things in your life, and you're sitting there going, but I don't see how to get them. And I get it. Do you feel that? Well, right now you're like, okay, but I hear what you're saying, Shauna, but I don't see how it's going to happen. These are the steps. And they almost seem too simple for us to believe in. But this is the neuroscience. This is the power of neuroscience. And, the other word that people use, it's kind of, I call it the naughty M word, right? Because a lot of people think it's all woo woo, but there's science behind manifesting. This is how we manifest the reality that we want. And, I have been teaching this for years. This is not new information. I know I sound like a crazy person, but if you go back, uh, I started coaching on mindset in 2014 for artists who were really struggling to believe that they could have a successful art business, right? And part of that is the messaging we were talking about, right? All of these things that keep us stuck, all of these old beliefs. When you're an artist and you decide that you want to be a professional artist, all your messaging is, well, starving artist. We had to reprogram all of that, all of those belief systems. So, what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't. We've all had things that we've had to reprogram our mindset for so that we can have success in our business, so that we can have success in our careers, so that we can have success in our relationships, so we can have success in our health. You can see how this breaks down. It infiltrates into every single part of our lives. You've got to first believe that change is possible. You next have to be able to visualize it. And then you have to be ready. And sometimes most of us don't even know that this is a problem. You have to be open to receiving the solution. Whoops. Oh man. Sorry, you guys. Solution. This is what happens when I think and try to write at the same time. Number 3, you have to be open to receiving the solution. What does that mean, Shauna? Well, that means that you can't try to think your way out of it. Oh my gosh, I am so guilty of this one. This is where I got hung up every time because I feel like I have to know how it's all going to happen. I feel like I have to know. Not only that, I feel like I have to make it all happen. Have you been there? Where you're looking at where you want to go and where you are now, and there is a huge gap, a gap that is like scary, that feels scary to you. And the first thing you do before you move into any of the belief, any of the visualization, you don't move into any of the positive feeling, you automatically go into, what do I need to do? I got to fix it. What do I need to do? And you start trying to map it out. And you start trying to figure it all out. And it's, you become like micro controlling, right? You gotta figure it out. But you're not open to receiving the solution. You're trying to force and create the solution. Do you understand what I mean? Can you feel that difference? Let's go there for a minute. the difference of, I believe that, oh shoot, I wish you guys were here to tell me, give me an example of something you want, and then I can walk you through it. That's really that's how I usually work. But give me an example. So let's say the example is, I want to generate 5,000. I want to earn and generate $5,000 this month. When you just say that, that's it. Where do you go first? Your first thought is, how am I going to do it? Right? How am I going to do that? Okay, first I got to do this, then I go to. Here's the problem with that. This is why we make it so much harder for ourselves. Instead of stepping back from that and going, yeah, I can't wait to earn $5,000 this month. Oh my gosh, I can totally see that happening. Here's what like, instead of feeling that and then deciding where to take action with that warm, fuzzy, juicy feeling of success, we're taking action from the panic of, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? Much different feeling, right? That's what I'm talking about, the energy and the vibration and the frequency. We have to have it from the point of our vision and what we want before we take any actions. So it is worth taking the time to bring yourself into that state, that emotional state, just with your imagination. Align yourself there before you take any actions. That's it. You guys, that's how we can make this happen. Because when you do that, you're going to be open to receiving solutions. What's going to happen when you start functioning from there? Things are just going to start falling into place. And you're going to be like, wow, that was so much easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, because you had your frequency and your vibration and everything aligned with that result before it ever happened. Isn't that exciting, you guys? I hope this excites you as much as it excites me. So where do you need to start? Where do you need to start changing what you want to get what you want? You've got to believe that change is possible. You may need to identify we're stuck in some of these, right? You've got to believe change is possible. You've got to visualize it and feel it. You've got to feel what you visualize. Use that imagination. Instead of for worrying, we're going to use it for what we want, to build the neural pathways that align us with the solution. That's it. Yeah. I hope you feel good about that. Okay, so I'm going to sign off. Here's what I want to say before we go, right? When it comes to making this happen for your business, this is how you're going to have whatever it is you want in your life. Like, no more financial stress. And if you're looking at this and you're like, okay, Shauna, I see it, I feel it, I know what I want, I don't really know what to do next, I want you to consider the option that I took, and that's changing my life and changing thousands of other people's lives. And that is a business blueprint that gives you the step-by-step path for 6 and 7 figures. 6 and 7 figures, working 2 hours a day with a 2-hour workday system, learning how to market and promote, do free ads, doing all of this, like promoting your business for free. Yeah, if you guys are out there and you've done any, Facebook ads, you know how expensive they are. Well, guess what? You have an option to be able to do this for less than anything you've ever imagined before, with I like high return profit, right? I want a high return on my investment. I want something that I can earn 6 and 7 figures and not have to grind 8 to 10 hours a day, where I get paid 100% profit of what I offer, what I sell, right? Eat what you kill, they call it in the medical world. They probably call it that other places too. where I get to be my own boss. I get to work when I want, I get to work where I want. I'm getting ready to go on a trip to Colorado here pretty soon. So excited, you guys. I'm here in Arkansas, and I'll be honest, this is not where my heart lies, right? I need to be in the mountains. I'm headed back to the mountains for a while. And guess what? I can do that without having to go in and, fill out a thing, get a request approved, make sure that all that's covered. I just get to decide and go because I get to schedule my business around my life, not the other way. I don't have to schedule my life around my business. Yeah, that's how powerful this is. So if you want to know more, I want you to go to shaunasdailypay.com. You can find that link, right? I'm going to use the naughty word. You can find that in several places, right? At the top of my bio, right? We're on LinkedIn. You can find that in the Facebook group links. You can find that everywhere. If you are not sure, just message me. I'd be happy to share it with you. Here's what's going to happen. All that's going to happen is this. You can have the blueprint for free. So, I'm just going to hang on. I'm going to pull it up for you so you'll see exactly what you're going to get. When you go there, you're going to see this screen. There we go. There we go. You're going to see this screen. You're going to pop in your email and you're going to submit it. Then you're going to get several goodies from me. You're going to get some goodies from me. You're going to get that blueprint, right? First, you're going to get the blueprint that we're using, and you're going to get right here your copy of the 10K in 30 days guide. Once again, this is your bonus that I am offering you, and it gives you daily action steps to be able to take an online business and earn 10K in 30 days, step by step. Here's the other thing you're going to get. You're going to have direct access to me. So the bonus with that, of course, is that you get direct access to me. So you get to ask me any questions you want. You can also do that through Messenger on Facebook. You can message me, on LinkedIn, wherever you want to message me. But this is what you have the opportunity to look at. Of course, once again, there's no obligations. If you get here and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not for me, you just unsubscribe, right? Just unsubscribe. It's no big deal if that's not what you want. But you're going to be able to look at this and walk through the process, the same process I'm going through. By the way, this website is built for you. Here is the only part I had to do for my website, right? This website's mine. I get paid 100% profit, just like you would be. You have the option of doing this as a business. Okay? You have the option of having this exact same thing. Now, here's what comes with this program. It's not just a business, you guys, it's a program. What's the difference between just a business and a program? Well, let me tell you, I've been in programs that are, quote, teaching you how to run a business, and it was not easy. I won't tell you that I didn't get the result, but I didn't, right? So when you're in here, you get all of this training and you get people, you get experts. This is not just a situation where you have a training and a course and you're on your own. Nope. You get me too, by the way. You get a huge community of people. There's over 30,000 people in that community. Plus, you're getting access to the experts, lifetime access to experts where you get to ask your questions and literally they spill the tea every week. Okay, here's how we did it. Here's all the tools. Here's all the training. Let's do a live training. Okay, you got questions? Ask me questions. That's what happens every week. Phenomenal. And you're like, yeah, but it probably costs you every month to do that. No, not anything, nothing. I get all that training every week for a lifetime for no monthly. There's no membership. There's no membership. Yeah, I know. Pretty amazing, right? All right, I'm going to sign off. But like I said, I would love to have you get the information so that you can make an informed decision. Just have the information so that you can be educated, so you can decide or ask your questions if this is something that can help you get where you want to go in your life, that can help you have what you deserve, help you get unstuck. Get unstuck. If you're feeling stuck, let's get unstuck. All right, I'm going to sign off. Take care, everyone.